All right, let's talk about the one part of the LEAP social studies test that makes everyone's palms sweat. Yeah, the constructed response. I know. It can feel like the hardest part of the whole thing. But stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to have the secret key to absolutely nailing it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're cruising through the multiple choice questions, you're on a roll, feeling great, and then, bam, you turn the page and see it. That giant, empty white box just staring at you. It's so easy to just freeze up. But guess what? We are going to change that today.
Okay, but what if I told you something kind of crazy? What if I told you that the people who make the test have already given you the secret to getting a perfect score? Seriously, it's not some big mystery. It's sitting there in plain sight. You just have to know where to look.
So let's pull back the curtain. The secret. It's all in the official scoring rubric. Now, I know the word rubric sounds super boring and maybe a little intimidating, but don't think of it like that. Think of it like the other team's playbook. It tells you exactly what the graders are looking for, exactly how to score points, and we're about to learn every single play.
Okay, here it is. This isn't something I made up. This is the real deal, pulled straight from the official LEAP assessment guide. This table is literally our roadmap. It shows us exactly what the graders need to see to give you points. The best part? They have to follow these rules. They can't give you a 2 if you've done the work for a 4. This is our map to a perfect score.
All right, I want you to zoom in on 2 words here, because this is the whole secret. You'll see the rubric uses the word identify for the lower scores, but it uses the word explain for the top scores. So what's the difference? Well, identifying is just pointing something out, just stating a fact. Explaining, on the other hand, is telling the grader how or why. And that one little difference, that's the key that unlocks a perfect score.
And just look at what that means for your score. It's huge. If you just identify 2 different things, okay, that gets you 2 points. That's not bad. But if you take just a little extra time to explain those same 2 things, your score literally doubles to a perfect 4. That's the game changer right there. Explaining is everything.
So that's the number we're aiming for, a perfect 4. And the rubric isn't a mystery anymore. It's our step-by-step guide to getting that 4 every single time.
So let's look at the actual language for a top score, right from a sample rubric. It says, student correctly explains 2 different effects. Let's pause there. See those keywords? Number 1, explains. Not lists, not identifies, explains. And number 2, 2 different effects. That's also super important. You can't just rephrase the same point. You need 2 separate ideas.
Okay, so we've cracked the code of the rubric. We know what they're looking for. Now let's turn that knowledge into a super simple formula that you can use on test day. No sweat.
Seriously, it's just 2 steps. That's it. Step 1, find 2 different points. You can get these from the documents they give you or just from your own brain, from what you've learned. Step 2, explain each of those points. Tell them how or why. That's the whole formula. Find 2, explain 2. Simple.
And let's make sure we're all on the same page about what explain means. It's simple. As you're writing, just ask yourself this one little question. Does this answer how or why? If your sentence tells the grader how something happened or why it's important, you're explaining. That's the check. Do that for both of your points and you're golden.
All right, talking about it is one thing, but let's see this formula work in the real world. We're going to look at an official, perfect scoring student answer and break it down piece by piece.
So first up, here's the prompt the student had to answer. Explain 2 different effects that the Magna Carta had on England. Look at that! The very first word is explain. The test is literally telling you what to do. It's giving you a huge clue.
And boom, here's the answer that got a perfect score. Just take a second to read it. You'll notice it's not super long, it doesn't use a bunch of crazy words, it's just clear, concise, and absolutely perfect, because it follows our formula to a T.
Okay, let's put this thing under the microscope. We're going to break it down and see exactly where the points came from.
All right, let's look at the first sentence. The first effect they identify is that it limited the monarch's power. Cool, that's point 1. But they don't stop. They explain how it limited the power by establishing the rule of law. See that? That by phrase is the explanation. That's what gets the points.
And now for the second effect. They identify point number 2. It ensured a fair trial by jury. Great, but again, they keep going. They explain how it did that by stating no man could go to prison without being judged by his equals. Boom, there's your second point with its own explanation.
And that's it. That's the whole magic trick. 2 different points, 2 clear explanations. That equals 4 points. It's a perfect score.
It really is that straightforward.
Okay, let's wrap this all up into a winning game plan. This is the checklist I want you to have in your head when you walk into that test.
Here's your plan for a perfect 4. First, read that prompt carefully. Look for those key verbs like explain. Then, your mission is to find 2 different answers. Dig through the sources, use what you already know. For each of those answers, you've got to add the how or the why. That's your explanation. And then, the most important step, before you move on, double check. Ask yourself, did I make 2 points? And did I explain both of them? If the answer is yes and yes, you are good to go.
So, the next time you're taking that test and you see that big blank box, what are you going to do? You're not going to panic because you've got the secret. You've got the playbook. You've got the formula. That box isn't scary anymore. It's an opportunity to show them exactly what you know and get that perfect score.